This is for my students. If you did the back of the practice test, I'll walk through this with you. I'm going to do a couple bonus problems at the end. And both of these are in slope-intercept form. Y equals mx plus b. M is the slope, b is the y-intercept, so you begin at b. So b is plus 1 for the first one. And then for slope is rise over run. And when you take that negative with the top one, that tells us that we're going to go down 3 and run 2 to the right. So the negative sign will go with our numerator, and we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 2 to the right. Follow that pattern out till you get as far as you can to the right. And then do the opposite. Go up 3 and 2 to the left until you work your way all the way back across the screen, across the graph. And there's our graph there. The other one will start at -3. So this is positive. We'll go up 1, 2 to the right. Up 1, 2 to the right. That takes us right there. Up 1, 2 to the right. We want to do that. Then down 1, 2 to the right, or 2 to the left. That's going to take us back. And we see that our solution is where the lines cross. Keep in mind, when we're talking about what is the coordinate, which is what we're doing here, the x-axis is just a number line. We're at 2 on that number line, and we are then 2 spaces below our x-axis. So that's 2, -2. Number 7. First equation again, slope-intercept form. Put a dot at 1. Point at 1, that's our y-intercept. And we are going to go, it says -1, we'll rise, -1, we'll rise 1 space, we'll go 1 space down, and 3 spaces to the right. Down 1, 3 to the right. Go back, do the opposite. Up 1, 3 to the left. Kind of crookedy looking line there. X equals 3. Well, this is not a function. It is in fact a vertical line. It's every point where x equals 3, which is every point above and below where x equals 3 on the x-axis. And so the solution is 3, 0. Remember how we graded these? Not many problems here, just a practice quiz. And so 20 points if you got the correct answer, the correct place it intersected. If you got that wrong, but you got at least, you managed to get one of the graphs right, at least you can give yourself half credit. So -10 if you got one graph right, but didn't get the correct solution. Y equals 2x plus 2. Start graphing at 2. The slope is 2 over 1. We'll go up 2 over 1, 2 over 1, down 2, 1 to the left. You're off the page there. On the second one, it's almost written in slope-intercept form. It's very similar. If you said, oh, I don't know how to do this, Mr. Sumner, I would say, well, what's being added to the x's? And then you'd think for a while, and you'd say nothing. And I'd say, what number is that? And you'd say, oh, 0. It's plus 0. So we'll start graphing at 0. The origin. And then say, well, what's the slope? And I'd say, how many x's are there? And you'd say 1. And I'd say, what's 1 as a fraction? 1 over 1. So we're going to rise 1 and go 1 to the right. And then back the opposite way. We have -2, and then 2 below the line, -2, -2. 2 below the x-axis. 2 more in slope-intercept form. We have 4, and then rise 3, run 2. Somewhere up there, it's going to take us. So then we'll go down 3, 2 to the left. And then for the second one, starting at -4, that -5 will go down 5, 2 to the right, which takes us somewhere that way. We can't go any further, so we'll go up 5, 2 to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, where it brought us to that point, and it'll look about like that. The point where they intersect is -2, +1. Last question, which is also worth 20 points. I numbered it wrong on your paper, I apologize. What does a system of equations with no solution look like? Well, they never cross. Two straight lines that never cross are going to be parallel. I'll give you a couple bonus problems. In case you have trouble, if you're trying to get on Khan Academy and do point slope or standard form equations. Maybe you just found some online you can practice. Remember, most of the ones on the test will be in slope-intercept form, so that should be really easy. That should be second nature to you. We've done those several points during the year. But I am going to work out a couple point slope problems for you. Well, a point slope in a standard form, one of each. So let's do this one. Y minus 2 equals 2/3 x plus 4. And when you graph one of these, since it's point slope form, you're going to construct a point by, you look at the number after x. It's whatever's subtracted from x. But if it's not subtracted, then you'd say, well, you make your answer negative. Essentially, you end up just reversing what's after your x. Instead of +4, you put -4. And here, in this case, we're actually subtracting 2. So what we're putting here is 2. So you see how they get reversed. But the thing after the x, that's going to give us our x value. The constant after the x and the constant after the y is going to give us our y value. Slope is in the same location right before the x. So that's not too hard to graph. We'll go back to -4 and up 2, and we'll put a dot there. And then we'll rise 2 and run 3 to the right. And this is actually sometimes really helpful for some y-intercepts that maybe aren't integers. Typically we've seen those as integers. It's easier to do that using point slope formula, or if the y-intercept is completely off the coordinate plane, then it's easy to do point slope form. It makes a lot of sense. Now, let me give you a standard form equation. I'm just going to make this up. Let's say we had 2x minus 3y equals 6. So again, we want to get this in slope-intercept form, and then we'll just graph it in slope-intercept form, because there's no easy way to graph it in standard form. I mean, no real straightforward way to graph in standard form. There are different ways that are not too hard, but there's no straightforward way. So we'll get in slope-intercept form first. First thing we want to do is subtract 2x from each side. So remember our algebra tiles, this is just like that shortcut where we're going to flip it over the equal sign. So we'll flip the 2x and it becomes -2x plus 6. It's just like subtracting 2x from each side. For some reason, I feel like it seems less confusing to people this way, so let's just do it that way. And then we'll divide. Those are the 2 steps. They're not that complicated. Fine. Get on Khan Academy. Simplify what you have on the right side. You end up with 2/3. Notice that those negative signs canceled. 2/3 x. And then 6 divided by -3 is -2. So, again, just graph it in slope-intercept form. -2. Rise 2, run 3. Bam. Bam. That's how you do that. Well, I hope you have the opportunity and the willpower to study as much as you need to for the test. Have a great weekend. Goodbye.